Another beautiful day here in Texas, just at my apartment. Anyways, so it's day 2. Tore apart the front end. Still getting everything out of the engine bay right now. Had to get the fenders off and stuff like that, and it took me a little while because I had my side skirts riveted on, but now they're not. So I need to just go ahead and continue taking this the rest of the way apart, and then from there I'm gonna hop on into this interior, start removing the interior, cleaning everything up and kind of storing it. I have a brand new dash. I have an uncracked S13 dash that I'm gonna put in this thing, so that'll be nice. And you know, my door panels are actually in really good shape, and same with the other side. So and then yeah, probably take the rest of the parts out of the trunk. I got a lot of stuff in here that I'm gonna be removing. Z32 brake booster and a lot of other stuff in here. So I'm gonna take all of this out, and then yeah, kind of get this thing ready so I can, because once this interior is out, I can start working on the cage, at least put the mounting plates in the floor, stuff like that. And the goal is to get the cage installed in this thing and then put all of the interior back in. I still want a full interior car, at least as much interior I can get back into this thing as possible. The rear seats, the rear upper section of the seat might have to go, which I might make a solution for the rear seats to where it still looks good and it's still an interior, but definitely want to make room for the cage. But then, let's see, what else? Yeah, so I decided on a color for the engine bay. I'm really stoked about it. So I'm gonna go with a, since I'm gonna have everything out of this thing anyways, I'm gonna go with a nice dark gray. No metallic, no pearl, nothing. It's just gonna kind of be a gray. It's gonna be really dark. Probably gonna go with that theme on the actual paint job of the car as well. So it's just gonna be a, you know, like a really high gloss gray, but there's just no flake, no pearl, just a gray. Yeah, and I think that's gonna look really good. So it'll have little gloss black accents and stuff like that here and there. And I'll keep the brakes that sun-kissed orange gold, and that kind of theme runs throughout the entire suspension on the car. As you can see, when you come back here, you can kind of see like all the other stuff is orange, and you know, actually probably need to clean it up under here. It's been sitting for a while, but pretty much what the underside of the car looks like. I made this exhaust myself from scratch. I took like 3 or 4 different exhaust setups and chopped them up and stuff like that, and welded them together, and used these V-bands right here. I think I did okay with my MIG gun. I mean, I'm not a professional welder or anything like that, but if you look right here, these are my welds. They're not horrible, you know, it looks right. And then I managed to get the rest of my TIG set up. So then I went and TIG welded right here. Obviously I'm not the greatest, but it doesn't look bad at all. And this is a vibrant resonator. And then it's just open. Well, right now the front section's not on it, obviously, but it's just open from here to there, and then from there it goes out. And then have that section right there, it's V-band. And then it goes to these blast pipes, those ISR blast pipes. So I'm gonna clean it all up. I'm running this aluminum drive shaft shop, 1-piece drive shaft. So kind of just giving you a look underneath the car. And then S14. So here's something kind of cool. So when you order the energy suspension bushing kit, you end up getting these crappy little sleeves for S13 and 180SX, and they go in here, and they're just junk. So what I do is I order the full S13 180SX kit, 240SX kit, and it gives me everything I need. But then I order S14 bushings, and then you actually leave the metal sleeve in there. You just pretty much get all the rubber out, you burn it out, and then use like a cup wheel to get the remainder out. And then you just push those S14 ones in, you know, by hand, with a little bit of lube, and boom, now you have S14. You know, front and rear, as you can see right there, they're not those sleeves because I just, those little sleeves, they just look cheesy. And instead, now I have, you know, these completely solid urethane bushings, which is nice. And yeah, so that's kind of what's going on this thing. Here's the back, what the back of the car looks like. And as far as the fenders fit, this is no modifications whatsoever. I just kind of fit them on here. Obviously this fender fit really, really well. Lines up with the door pretty well too. I'll have to do some trimming and stuff like that, but I wanted to get it on there. And the gas tank, I'm gonna get my door on there as well. But this other side, I'm gonna have to redo a little bit because I came out the next day and it's kind of bubbled right here. So I'm gonna redo it, do it right, to where it kind of gets these little humps out of there, because I don't like the way that looks. But everything else lined up really, really good. I mean, as good as they can for some fiberglass fenders. I mean, this is right out of the box. Nothing else done. I took an oscillator tool and I cut the inner part of the fender right here. And the same with the fronts. They're sitting over here. Don't mind my messy garage. But see, I cut up under here to remove it. And this is what's pretty cool. Here, I'll show you this oscillating tool. It's such a neat tool. Oops. Where do I have that bad boy at? Here we go. So this little guy right here is an excellent tool. Right now it has a sanding attachment on it, but I use this to cut the fiberglass, right? So it's this little piece, and then this is a plunge cutter right here. So this thing is immensely helpful. But what's really cool about using this oscillator is that when you go and start cutting into the fiberglass, it doesn't fling it everywhere like a rotary type cutter or anything like that. What happens is you take the tool and you go and you put the tool on here and it'll just cut through it, and you'll just see all the fiberglass just fall to the floor. You know, dust doesn't get flung everywhere. You can get away with just like wearing one of those little normal particle masks, those little white ones that kind of have that little metal strip that can pinch to your nose. And you totally get away with one of those because there's just not fibers flying everywhere in the air. So I'd recommend, if you ever do any fiberglass work, to get one of those little oscillating tools. They sure are neat. Sorry, I'm kind of huffing a little bit. It's like 103 outside right now. It's pretty hot in this garage, so super sweaty already. But anyway, that's the update for day 2. I'll have the rest of this stuff done. I was gonna do a time lapse. I got my little GoPro stand set up over here. I was gonna do a time lapse, but it's charging right now, so I'll either wait until it's done charging, or I'll try to throw together a cool little time lapse video. Right now I'm just using my iPhone, but yeah, cool. So hopefully I'll have something here. All right, the time has come. I'm gonna start removing the interior. Kind of got everything out of the trunk. And obviously I need to vacuum all this stuff. The interior's kind of dirty as far as that's concerned, but yeah, so but all this stuff is out of the trunk, so that way I can start pulling everything apart, organizing everything. What's really cool is if you have access to some of these, this makes organization so much easier, because you can basically just grab it and, you know, mark like where it goes and then put the hardware in there. But for the interior, I like to use Ziploc bags. It's much easier because you grab a Ziploc bag, label it with your permanent marker, and then grab the bag, move over to your car. For instance, I started undoing the seat. As you can see, not everything will fit in those little plastic bins, but you still want to keep it together. So these will all fit into the little plastic bag. When I remove the seat, I can put the plastic bag inside the seat, close it up, put it in my apartment, and then all is well. And it's there waiting for me when I'm ready to put it all back together. That's just a surefire way to kind of keep your stuff organized. But anyway, yeah, so got this little tripod set up. Hopefully the GoPro's done charging now, and I'm gonna start doing a time lapse. But man, look how clean the spare tire was. I took it out of the back, I was like, wow, a lot of other stuff. That thing is like brand new. But Anyway, cool. Well, I'll get you on time lapse. Alright, wrapping up for the night. Managed to get a lot of stuff out. Tons of stuff. And then the engine bay, pretty much everything's out. Need to take out this battery tray. Need to remove this little fella right here, this, and then we're gonna probably drop the subframe tonight, and then that way I can get to working on sanding everything. And then the interior is pretty much apart, ready for the cage. I'll probably start building that here this week after I get some materials. So, thanks, Ryan. This is Ryan. Say hi. And then, yep. So, anyway, so that's going to conclude for this night's episode.